The new year. Today is the first day of 2026. People all over the world are celebrating the new year. Many people spend their New Year's vacation traveling, shopping, visiting friends, and so on. But we should remember that there are still a lot of people elsewhere, such as in Africa and some parts of Asia, who are suffering from hunger and illness. To them, a new year means nothing. I don't think that they even know that today is the beginning of the new year. Anyway, we who are enjoying a good life should remember these people and try to help them. Although I am not suffering right now, I should not spend my vacation playing. This is because I have to study hard during the vacation in order to prepare for this year's National College Entrance Examination. So I'll just dig into my books right now, and I'll think of having fun during the summer vacation.
Early in the morning when I woke up from my dream and opened the window, finding that the whole world had become a white one. How beautiful it is. The first snow has now come, but I don't know when it began. Maybe it started from the midnight, maybe from the daybreak. I continued standing before the window and saw the snow was falling on so silently on the mountains, on the trees, on the roofs, and on the faces of the children. Only the river is not frozen. It marks its course by a winding black line across the lily ground. With the first snow, everywhere seems to be so quiet. No more tramping hoofs, no more rattling wheels. I thought to myself, tomorrow I can go out and have snowball fights and build snowmen. For that, I smile a sweet smile.
I got up early today to watch the sunrise. While I waited for the sun to rise, I sat beside my window and thought of my future. Soon I will be a grown man, and I won't be a child anymore. Maybe I'll be going to college if I pass the National College Entrance Examination this year. I didn't want to think of not passing this important examination, for my parents are counting on me to do so. Anyway, if I don't pass this one, I should try again next year. I thought about my parents too. They have worked so hard to give us children a good life. Now they are getting older little by little. There are more gray hairs now in mother's hair. As for my father, he's beginning to have a hard time to read the newspaper. He uses a pair of glasses now. All these thoughts inspire me and tell me that time is indeed swiftly passing by. The sun was coming out of the horizon. First it was just a ray of light, but little by little the whole circle started coming into view. The sky was a bright orange, with a blue haze surrounding the emptiness. Soon I could feel the warmth of the sun as its rays passed through my window pane. The view was really beautiful, more beautiful than any picture I had ever seen. In a few minutes, everyone was awake, and everyone went on their own way with their lives. Another day had started, and it was another beginning for all of us.
After afternoon classes, I went to the post office on my way home and bought a set of new stamps issued recently. On them are printed pictures of such rare animals as birds and monkeys. Stamp collection is my hobby. Every time I open the albums and look at the stamps I've collected these years, I can learn something new. Many stamps are about drawings or pictures of animals, trees, flowers, or houses. They help me increase my knowledge of nature. On other ones, there are portraits of historical figures, such as Ku Yuan, Dr. Sun Yat-sen, and Mao Zedong. My relatives and friends often give me used stamps, which add to my stamp collection. The more stamps I have, the more interested I'm in stamp collection.
As it was Sunday and moreover rainy today, I overslept till 10:30 o'clock in the morning. It was very hard to get up in the cold morning. Someone said, "Sleep is an important element of health." I think that is quite true. Because I had a good sleep, now I feel very well with a fresh memory and a good appetite. I ate a boiled egg and drank a cup of instant coffee. Then I began to do my homework, mathematics, physics, chemistry, and politics assignment, which must be finished today. In addition, a quiz about politics will be held tomorrow.
Staying up. I stayed up again last night. Last night was different, though, from the other nights when I stayed up. Instead of studying the whole night through, last night I had a slumber party with my friends, Ramona, Priscilla, and Phyllis. We talked about a lot of things. We talked about our favorite movie idols and the boys we had a crush on. James Dean is our favorite movie idol. We collect everything which has his picture on it. I showed my collection of James Dean to the other girls, and I could see they were very jealous of what I had. We also ate a lot of potato chips and drank a lot of Coke. All of us hardly got any sleep. When we were able to sleep at last, it was already 5 in the morning. When we got up at 7, the radio was still on. After having some breakfast, the girls left. Now I have a throbbing headache, so I asked for a sick leave for one day and slept the whole afternoon. It's time to hit the books. Tomorrow will be another school day again.
The meaning of life. This morning, I didn't feel like going to school. This is because I was already tired of my life at school. The days seemed to be dragging on longer and longer with each passing day. Therefore, I tried to pretend that I was sick in order that I wouldn't have to go to school. But I failed. The reason was because I am not a good liar. So off I went to school. On my way to school, I tried singing a song to make myself feel happier. To my surprise, I suddenly realized but comes from what we put into life. The moment I realized this, the sky seemed to be brighter than ever. With this frame of mind, I was able to carry on my day.
It is simple enough to say that since books have classes, fiction, biography, poetry, we should separate them and take from each what it is right that each should give us. But in most of cases, we came to books with blurred and divided minds, asking of fiction that it shall be true, of poetry that it shall be false, of biography that it shall be flattering, of history that it shall enforce our own prejudices. If we could banish all such preconceptions when we read, that would be an admirable beginning. Do not dictate to your author. Try to become him. Be his fellow worker and accomplice. If you hang back and reserve and criticize at first, you are preventing yourself from getting the fullest possible value from what you read. But if you open your mind as widely as possible, the signs and hints of almost imperceptible fineness from the twist and turn of the first sentences will bring you into the presence of a human being unlike any other. Steep yourself in this, acquaint yourself with this, and soon you will find that your author is giving you, or attempting to give you, something far more definite.
A little at a time. I conducted an experiment in a week. Whenever I had 5 minutes unoccupied, I sat down and wrote 100 words or so. To my astonishment, at the end of the week, I had a sizable manuscript ready for revision. Therefore, I understand that there is an important trick in the time-using formula. You must get into your work quickly. If you have but 5 minutes for writing, you cannot afford to waste 4 chewing your pencil. You must make your mental preparations beforehand and concentrate on your task almost instantly when the time comes. Fortunately, rapid concentration is easier than most of us realize. I confess I have never learned how to let it go easily at the end of 5 or 10 minutes, but life can be counted on to supply interruptions. Thereupon, even very short periods of time add up to all useful hours I need if I plunge in without delay.
First love. For the sake of reviewing my lessons, I knew him. The hours spent together as he had coached me, produced me, all with a tact and patience that amazed me. He never belittled me for my lack of understanding, never commented when I missed one on the endless lists of things I had to memorize. He just ran through it again, giving me some memory tricks, and after the first 2 weeks, the course material that had seemed incomprehensible began to fall into place. The days had stretched into weeks, and even when it became apparent that I no longer needed his coaching, I was reluctant to call a halt to their meetings. He seemed to feel the same way, and our conversations about everything else expanded. He told me about his own days at the beautiful Beijing University's campus, his study, and all the places it had taken him. A letter came from my friend who climbed Mount Kunlun. It ran as follows. We have just come to the 9th station. It is very cold here because of a severe snowstorm. It is rather foolish to complain of the heat staying in Guangzhou. The whole place was mantled by white snow. Dogs and children were playfully romping in the snow. But persons in high clogs were very much troubled, as the snow got in between the supporters of their clogs.
The first spring thunder. On my way home happily after school, a big noise, thundering, uttered all of a sudden from the heavy clouds filled with raindrops, and from the gap connecting the sky and the ground. This was the first spring thunder, which broke the dead tranquility of winter, and was like a big explosive ball, rolling over the people. It made use of landslide air to roar towards the ground. Spring has fallen down. I thought that you, spring thunder, don't feel arrogant. The silent green trees and red flowers have stealthily told the world about signals of spring earlier. However, in the green wheat field, diligent peasants still welcomed it. They weren't scared by the insurgent look of spring thunder, but looked forward to the upcoming of spring rain, as expensive as oil after spring thunder. The spring rain. The Central Meteorological Observatory has announced that the cold season is over, but it is still cold. In the morning, I stayed in bed, having nothing to do. Mother grew anxious and asked me whether I was sick, but I was all right, except for a slight sentiment of melancholy. I opened the window, finding that the spring rain continued falling gently. Some swallows were busily flying about to and fro among the rain. The peach blossoms in the garden were beaten by the rain and fell off. This is how beautiful but miserable it is. Judging from the look of the sky, the warm spring does not seem likely to visit us so soon.
A new fashion has arrived in Guangzhou. Young women now wear miniskirts. Last Friday, I met a classmate wearing a miniskirt on the street. Her name was Xiao Meiru. She looked cute. After I came home, I said to Mom in the kitchen, "Will you buy a miniskirt for me?" She said, "You don't look nice in that kind of clothing." I think her thinking is old-fashioned. I would like to buy a miniskirt with my own money.
Tomorrow is the Spring Festival, the most important festival in China. According to the custom, we should make dumplings today. Chinese dumplings is not only delicious, but also easy to make. I have learned that from my mother. First, make the filling. You can choose your favorite meat, such as pork, beef, and mutton. Mince it and mix it with chopped chives or cabbage. At the same time, put in seasonings, such as salt, soy sauce, pepper, sesame oil, chopped green onions, and ginger to get your favorite flavor. Stir them heavily for even mixture. Second, make the dough. Put the flour in a container, add water bit by bit, and stir it strenuously to make it sticky. Then let it rest for 20 minutes or so. Cut one part and knead it. Then cut it into small pieces. Press each piece with the palm of your hand and roll it with a thin rolling pin into a thin, round piece. Finally, make dumplings. You can hold a dough piece horizontally in your left hand, put a suitable amount of filling onto the central part, then fold the sides around the filling, press the upper central part of it firmly, and make firm and nice lace from one end to the other around the folded edge to close it. Once dumplings are finished, boil them in boiling water until they are cooked. That's all. Please taste these delicious dumplings.